Hello. Welcome to another episode of Walk the Dog Cinema. Here we have Roca on her way. We're out and about, getting our walk in, get some calories burning, get the blood flowing after a nice day at work, and nice day for Roca, who's been eagerly waiting me to get home so she can get out and about and get her walk in. As you can see, she's got the ears kind of backing up a little bit there, and she's ready to explore the world as she so loves to do. Today, though, we're going to explore Dr. Terror's House of Horrors as we come into October month and the grand month of Halloween. To say, as a little guy, always enjoyed this month, dressing up, trick-or-treating young, but biggest part was horror movies. It was kind of my big thing, kind of my foray into getting into movies besides Superman. But yeah, horror was kind of the catalyst that made me really have my imagination really go wild on me. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. So Dr. Terror's House of Horrors is an Amicus production. They are kind of the, so to speak, redheaded stepchildren of Hammer during the 60s and 70s. They're the other British company, basically. They did some pretty decent horror movies, but their big claim to fame within, besides using a lot of the same actors like Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Freddie Francis, Roy Baker, doing a lot of their movies and filming. They did anthology films, that were 4 or 5 stories, kind of tied everything together. They called them like the post-mortoria films. There's 7 of them. There's actually kind of an 8th one done by the same producers, but it's not underneath the Amicus banner. And I'm going to start off, I've been doing the house comedy thing, but I decided that I'm going to take a look and gander at all 7 of these. So kind of doing them in order. And the very first one they ever did was Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, starring Peter Cushing as kind of the catalyst that does all the different stories. Christopher Lee has a story in it, The Disembodied Hand, where he's a film critic that with Michael Gould. You'll know him as Alfred from Batman and Michael Keaton's Batman, if you ever seen that. But he was big in the 60s and 70s in the horror scene. Obviously, Christopher Lee with Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, but he was Dracula, The Mummy for Hammer. Peter Cushing, also Star Wars, Grand Moff Tarkin, but horror icon. And you also have the first movie for a jazz artist. Bob Bailey is in this. His sequence is more comedic, voodoo, about a musician who's rather klutzy, who steals a piece of music by a voodoo god and pays a price. And I'm gonna just say this right out the back. This is kind of the least effort of the 7 for the most part for me. There's some fun stories in it. This is Amicus kind of just getting their start, getting their going. And though each story has a very to each their own in one sense, I think all 7 plus the 8th one Milton Sabosky produced, Monster Club with Vincent Price, I think they're all worth a watch, especially for Halloween. There's a lot of Halloween moments. There's a lot of great 60s, 70s horror. The difference between them and Hammer, Hammer does more of the gothic stuff, and Amicus dealt with more modern, but they kind of use the kind of same color palettes, washings with reds and blues with lighting. Things are sumptuous. The women walk around in negligees that are kind of see-through but not fully, very erotic in that regard. but Hammer did more gothic, where Amicus did more modern. And the crazy thing with this is, growing up, if you've never seen these movies and you start watching them, you're probably going to remember if you've been in the film or seen film on TV, and some of the shorts as we go through them. This one maybe a little less so. It's kind of the least known one of the anthologies. Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, Asylum, maybe even The House of Drip Blood are a little bit more mainstream. But they had the cool boxes in the VHS era. Even their DVDs have some really cool art on them, with the skulls, and just kind of felt very forbidden. But growing up, I'd seen these without realizing what you're watching, maybe on Elvira or, the late night, and just old HBO back in the early 80s. And, going through them, and you go, oh my gosh, I remember this story. Or, oh, that's the tie around, because you haven't seen the whole thing. But I always kind of, growing up, kind of didn't differentiate between Amicus and Hammer till I got really into film, and then learned the differences about the two. It's like I said, the styles, because they shared a lot of the same directors and the cast and everything, there's a lot of similarities. Even some of the writers, Amicus used Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho, a lot of his short stories, so. And then by the time Hammer got into the 70s, they started doing more modern stuff too, with their Dracula, 1972 AD, and even in some other films, and even some of their anthologies. So the two British studios really were churning them out. There's a lot of fun movies, and like I said, the 8 I'm gonna watch and review and put them all up here. They're all fun. Said this one's the least, but if you want to start, this is how it came out. This is the first one that came out. Peter Cushing does a great job as this tarot reader, and how the whole movie is these 5 strangers are in a train car, and Peter Cushing joins them, and he spills out a tarot deck, and each of the people in the compartment test the tarot deck, and they're told their future and how they can maybe get out of it. Now I'm going to get into the spoilers. The first one, Werewolf, deals with a architect who sells the mansion to a lonely widow, and runs into a werewolf, basically, and has a encounter with the werewolf, and kind of just abruptly ends. It's a great atmospheric scene. It doesn't really have a werewolf transformation or anything in it. Like I said, these were kind of low budget in that regard. Though they don't look low budget, I'm just saying that the special effects aren't like the mainstay of this. It's really about camera lighting and atmosphere. There's a great sequence in the study that has some great mood lighting with reds in there, and even some blues at night, and just kind of an eerie, fog shrouded, more kind of feeling, and it all plays well. It's kind of straightforward, and at the end of it, Peter Cushing pulls out a death card, and basically the guy is gonna die. That's pretty much what the movie's telling you. And so that one's pretty decent. The next one is I want to say Voodoo. I could be getting them mixed up, but the Voodoo one is just kind of fun with a musician. He's kind of klutzy, goes to an island, sees a voodoo dance ritual thing going on, loves the music, wants to steal it. They basically warn him, don't steal the god's music, otherwise you're gonna pay the price. Gets back to his club in the USA, does this whole arrangement. It's quite an interesting scene. The music's actually quite ingenious on one level. It's kind of played for laughs, and again, he runs into the music getting taken back and the death card's pulled for him. Christopher Lee's part is the disembodied hand. He's an art critic. We find out he runs into Michael Gould, who is an artist, and he despises him, thinks he's a hack. They play a joke on Christopher Lee because Christopher Lee really likes this art, and then they reveal that it's a monkey. This is one of the ones I've always seen on TV. Never knew the framework with it. I don't know why I always just saw this short. It's well acted. I mean, you get Christopher Lee, Michael Gould, and they're great. Christopher Lee runs down Michael Gould, and this is, to me, kind of the slam bang one in the whole bunch. It's got a lot of great air and mystery and a nice little villain, and you're rooting for the artist. He loses his hand, commits suicide, but his hand takes revenge. So you got the crawling hand and some just really kind of gruesome-ish kind of shadow and foreplay. There's great camera work, setup and build up, and a great comeuppance for Christopher Lee. And he also gets the death card. Donald Sutherland's in it. It's one of his first movies. It's not his first movie, but it is one of his first. He's very young in this. He plays the vampire lover, where basically you find out he married a vampire. And there's a nice little twist on that in that episode. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's groundbreaking or anything. It's well acted. The vampiress that he's married to is again in the nice negligee. Has those shots. She is attractive and everything, and it's par for the course. And so that part of it, it is sumptuous and all those things, but it's more for the twist at the end of this one. That's kind of play for laughs a little bit, but at the same time, it is a good payoff. And then the one I did miss, which was actually the second story, is about it's the creeping vine. It's about a plant that gains sentient. It's very B material, so to speak, well acted. And for something that could go really, really bad, it's actually a pretty decent, suspenseful moment. There's a part where they do kill a dog. It's not shown, but it does sound horrible with the sound effects. You want the plant to get it. It has Bernard Lee in it. He's M from the James Bond series. But it's about a family who has this plant taking over their house and killing people, and how they get out of it or try to get out of it is the whole basis of it. And those are kind of the stories. And the whole wraparound is that they challenged Peter Cushing to what was going on. Why did all of them have the tarot card at the end be pulled to death? That's the whole tie-up of the movie as they get off the train and they learn their true fate. You can kind of see it coming from a mile away. I don't know if it really, to me, makes much sense in that regard. It's cool that Peter Cushing's playing death. But when you kind of see the stories, you kind of try to figure out how they ended up dying. And I know I'm giving it away, but at the same time, the reveal still be kind of neat for you if you've never seen it. If you've seen it, then you understand. It's kind of the least interesting part of the movie to me. But it does have some great atmosphere with a really cheesy Peter Cushing changing into a skeleton thing. That's kind of laughable, but they try to do a good job. But it's their first effort in that regard, so I'll cut it a little bit of slack. But it is a fun movie. Check it out. Leave comments on any horror movies you like watching during the Halloween season. Let me know what you think of Hammer and Amicus movies. What are your favorites? I'd like to see some comments about that. Otherwise, if you like it and want to keep joining in on what we're watching, subscribe, and I'll see you at the movies.